With this heartbreaking loss to the Cleveland Cavaliers on a Donovan Mitchell game winner, the Milwaukee Bucks find themselves at the bottom of the Eastern Conference standings, going 1-5 to start this new NBA regular season, their worst start since 2001. And to make things even worse, I found a stat that stated 19% of teams make the playoffs after starting off 1-5. They played the Cleveland Cavaliers again tonight for the chance at not going 1-6. And in this video, we're going to ask ourselves, who takes the blame for the Bucks' disastrous start to the season? Is it Giannis for putting pressure publicly on the team to make a blockbuster trade last offseason? Is it Doc Rivers for coming in halfway through a season where the team was completely rolling and really messing things up? Is it Chris Middleton's for not being able to stay healthy for almost every season the past couple of years? Or is it the front offices for going so all the way in on this core of players that they do not own their own first round pick until 2031? Today in this video, we discuss the potential downfall of the Milwaukee Bucks, if we think they can recover, and truly who it is to blame for this supposed title contender's rough start to the NBA season. Let's dive right in. All right, y'all. So I'm editing this video before the Bucks play the Cavs tonight, and there's some breaking news that just took place. Giannis has been ruled out tonight with an adductor injury. I'm sorry, but I don't believe it for a second. This could get really bad for Milwaukee. Had to say that before we continue this video. Giannis trade talks are going to be the center of the NBA world for the next couple weeks at minimum. So gear up for that. Enjoy the rest of the video. Had to throw that in there. So if we take a look at the Bucks' first 6 games to start the year last year, we'll see they went 4-2. with an offensive rating of 114.4, a defensive rating of 116.7, and a net rating of -2.4. Meanwhile, this year, the offense is down to just a 109.7. The defense is around the same, and their net rating is close to a league worst at -7.0. And before we get into individual players and who is to blame here, I do want to say that Damian Lillard and Giannis are both having pretty awesome seasons. I mean, Giannis has a 63.3 effective field goal percentage, averaging 31 points per game, 12.3 rebounds, and 6.3 assists. And then Dame, 26.2 points per game, 6.7 assists, 5 rebounds, shooting 36.7% from 3. And Brook Lopez also is having a good season. He's the team leader per cleaning the glass in efficiency differential in points per possession with him on the court versus off. He's not necessarily shooting it great from 3, just 29% right now, but he's averaging 10 points per game. But I guess where the real problem comes with pretty much the entire rest of the roster here. For example, last year they had Malik Beasley, who shot 41% from 3 and had a plus 5.8 on and -3.2 off net rating. This year he moves on to Detroit. They bring in Gary Trent Jr., who also shot 41% from 3 on pretty high volume in Portland last year. Unfortunately, these first 6 games for Gary Trent Jr. have been pretty abysmal. He's shooting just 25% from 3. And while I do expect that number to bounce back for Gary Trent Jr., he's a career 38% three-point shooter. Some of the other advanced stats do not bode very well for him at all right now. Matter of fact, he has the 3rd worst defensive rating on the team at 118.8. But he's probably the least of the Bucks role player worries. Matter of fact, you know he's going to shoot better from 3 than 25%. He'll at least be around that 35-36%, the league average. And I have to assume with that, his net rating will go up over the course of the year. Matter of fact, Cleaning the Glass actually does not hate him from an advanced analytics perspective. He's 4th best on the team in efficiency differential. Taurean Prince is a starter for this Milwaukee Bucks team, playing 30.8 minutes per game. And he is a player that has been a problem for Milwaukee. He's a new free agent signing, played with the Lakers last season, the Wolves the season before. And the Bucks offense has actually been pretty good with Taurean Prince on the floor. I mean, it doesn't hurt that he's in that starting lineup, so he shares minutes with both Damian Lillard and Giannis on the court together. However, Taurean Prince is supposed to be a pretty good defender, and he has been abysmal terrible on the defensive end this year. He has the second worst defensive rating on the team at 121.3, with just a little bit better of an offensive rating than Gary Trent Jr. Again, so that's two starters here that have minus 0.7, 0.1, and minus 7.9 net ratings. Not necessarily what you want to see from a title contender. These are two players in Gary Trent Jr. and Taurean Prince that have been underperforming through the first 6 games of the year, and they're NBA veterans. They need to be playing better than they have been. The hard thing about Taurean Prince is that he's shooting pretty crazy from 3 right now on 3.7 attempts per game. He's making 54.5% of them. He is a good 3-point shooter for the most part for his career. He shot 39.6% last year. However, I wonder how bad his efficiency metrics will be once he stops shooting above 50% from 3, because again, the Bucks are getting killed defensively with him on the floor, and that has to change. This team has to be a good defensive team if they want a chance at not just making the playoffs, but being those title contenders that they're supposed to be. Today's video is brought to you by Autograph. Autograph is the first of its kind app that rewards your fandom for your favorite NBA teams. The way it works is it curates a feed inside the app of your favorite creators from your favorite NBA team. And the more you engage with it, the more coins you earn, which unlock giveaways like this Jason Tatum signed jersey. And when it comes to playoff time, playoff tickets. They gave a lot of playoff tickets away on this channel just last year. But my favorite part is a new feature they added called Rooms. We've created a Hardwood room in partnership with them, and I will be live inside of that room for various NBA games throughout the season, including this Thursday, 1 hour before Timberwolves Bulls. So what are you waiting for? Join the nation's fastest growing sports fan movement. Get rewarded for your fandom today, and we'll see you there on Thursday in the Hardwood Community Room. Thanks to Autograph for sponsoring this one. Let's get right back into it. Pat Connaughton, a longtime role player for these Milwaukee Bucks, is playing 16 minutes per game this year and has been terrible on the offensive end, shooting just 29.6% from the field, 26.3% from 3, and averaging 3.8 points per game. That's an effective field goal percentage of 38.9. To give you some perspective, he shot 43.5% from the field last year, 34.5% from 3, and had an effective field goal percentage of 55.3. And so with him, he's just been awful offensively this year. If we take a look at his on-off metrics, when he is on the court, the Bucks have had an offensive rating of just 103.4 and a net rating of minus 12.9, giving him the second worst net rating on this entire team. But by far, the worst problem for the Bucks this season by the numbers is a player that was phenomenal last year, and that's none other than Bobby Portis. Bobby shot 41% from 3 last year at a 56.2% effective field goal percentage, and got 3rd in 6th man of the year voting for a 2nd consecutive season. Yet Bobby's first 6 games of this season have been some of the worst of his career, not just on the offensive end, even though he's shooting a pretty poor 25% from 3 and just 47.6% from the field. He's still averaging 11 points per game, 7.7 rebounds. His counting stats don't necessarily stick out that badly compared to past seasons, except for that 3-point percentage. But if we take a look deeper into the advanced analytics, you'll see that Bobby Portis has been an absolute cone on the defensive end all season long. Matter of fact, he's in just the 6th percentile on dunksandthrees.com's estimated plus minus at a minus 1.0 defensive EPM. If we then take a look at his individual defensive rating, he has the worst individual defensive rating on the team by far at 122.7, and his offensive rating is also the worst on the team at 100.3, which gives him a net rating of minus 22.4. If we then take a look at cleaning the glass, guys, this gets even worse. Bobby Portis is in the 0 percentile in efficiency differential at minus 29.8. His expected wins above replacement are minus 50. He's in the 4th percentile in points per possession at minus 16.9. He's in the 5th percentile at his position in effective field goal percentage for the entire team when he's on the court at minus 8.3. He's in just the 6th percentile in turnover percentage when he's on the court, meaning that when he's on the court, the Bucks turn the ball over an extra 5% of the time. Everyone above him in minutes played is negative. And then defensively, when Bobby Portis is on the floor, they're giving up an extra 12.8 points per 100 possessions. Teams are shooting an extra 4% effective field goal percentage. That is honestly one of the worst cleaning the glass profiles I have ever seen. Of course, again, it's just 6 games, but it tells a large story as to why the Bucks are 1-5. I don't know what is going on with Bobby Portis, but he better figure it out quickly. But honestly, as I'm editing this video, I'm watching through highlights and I've put them up while I'm talking about Bobby. You can see why his numbers are so bad on the defensive end. He has no awareness. It doesn't look like he's ever paying attention. It doesn't look like he's giving much effort at all. Something's going on with Bobby Portis and they got to figure it out, man. It is honestly embarrassing. If we take a look at the Bucks team cleaning the glass profile, you'll see besides Giannis, they're getting killed in transition. I just don't think anybody on this team is very athletic or fast because they have the worst offensive rebounding rate in the entire league, which is terrible if you're getting killed in transition the way they are. Everyone should be able to get back. You should not be getting beat in transition, yet they still are. And they're also not getting any turnovers on defense. They're 29th in the league in turnover rate, with being the 3rd worst in points per possession. So what are the Bucks supposed to do? I mean, for one, not a huge fan of Doc Rivers. He's clearly came in and done nothing to help this team, but instead stall them. And I'm not saying that Adrian Griffin did a fantastic job with that defense, but at the same time, the front office threw an absolute grenade on him by getting rid of Drew Holiday, bringing in Damian Lillard when you hired Adrian Griffin to have a top 5 defense. But then when you get rid of Drew Holiday, that really changes everything. And I feel for Adrian Griffin. Needless to say, I think blame can go around everywhere. Obviously, Bobby Portis is to blame. I think Giannis is somewhat to blame by putting pressure on the front office to make a big deal. I do not think the Damian Lillard trade in the long run is going to look like a good one at all. They paid way too much for him, in my opinion, given what they had already given up from their future for Drew Holiday, to then give up multiple firsts on top of it and pretty much signing your entire decade until 2030 away to a core that is as old as Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, and Giannis. I don't think Chris Middleton is to blame, but I do want to see what this Bucks team looks like with him back. The sad thing is, if you get to like 1-8 or 1-9, it's incredibly hard to dig out of a hole like that in today's modern NBA. With that being said, what do the Bucks do at this point? I mean, you can't really trade for anyone. Like we said, you don't have any draft capital. I think there's only about one thing you can do, and that's play Andre Jackson Jr. more. He's only playing 9 minutes a game right now. He has a net rating that is best on the team in that short 47-minute sample size at plus 9.7. His on-court defensive rating is 96.2, and so I think if you can try to play him some of those Taurean Prince minutes, hope that Gary Trent's shot starts falling, you'll then have a better primary point of attack defender in Andre Jackson over Taurean Prince, who's getting absolutely torched. And then that defense may work. You have Brook Lopez rim protecting. You have Giannis, who's the most versatile defender in the NBA. I don't know, man. It's just an idea. Maybe Andre Jackson plays more minutes and he's just not that good. But I think personally, Taurean Prince is... I think his offense is unsustainable with his 3-ball, and I think his defense is atrocious. He needs to be coming off the bench. I think you give Andre Jackson Jr. a shot. Besides that, I don't know what you do besides blow up the entire thing. I mean, Giannis has proven in the past that he has very little patience for the city of Milwaukee. I don't think he's going to go through more than one losing season, and the Bucks have literally nothing they can trade to improve this team. They don't even have any second-round picks until 2030. So that's about it. I'm sorry if you're a Bucks fan and you're maybe a little bit depressed watching this video, but this is the reality of it. This is what Giannis wanted. I'm a huge Giannis fan, but when you already give up 3 or 4 firsts for Drew Holiday, and then you trade him for a 33-year-old plus an extra first and 2 pick swaps, you better hope you have enough in-house to get the job done, and I do not believe the Bucks do. That being said, again, Chris Middleton is a massive difference. He will make a massive difference. I'm just very skeptical he can stay healthy. He's been injured almost every single season the past couple, and he's also 33 years old. world, heaven forbid, Brook Lopez, Damian Lillard, Chris Middleton, just 2 out of the 3 or 1 out of the 3 of them all of a sudden experience a massive dip in production in the next year or so. That's where I'm at, guys. They play the Cavaliers tonight again. The Cavs are 7-0, and the Bucks' only win this year was over a Joel Embiid and Paul George-less Philadelphia 76ers team who is also 2-5. So I don't know, man. We'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be on the lookout for a Denver Nuggets video coming soon. I also want to make a Trae Young video soon, an Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry video soon, and the Utah Jazz's secret plan for Cooper Flag soon. Thanks for watching, and as always, we'll see ya on the hardwood.